To address the issues facing Tennesseans today, from 10 News, this is Inside Tennessee.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm your moderator, John North. John Becker is away. Do you own a house? Do you rent a house? Have you sold a house? If any of those apply to you, then our show today probably is something you'll be very interested in. We're talking about the crazy real estate market we've been seeing in East Tennessee. We'll kick into that in just a moment, but let me introduce our guests and our panelists. One of our guests this morning is Hanson Sale from the Knoxville Area Association of Realtors. He is one of those whiz guys that knows all about real estate trends, and he'll be enlightening us. And then we're joined by our panelists this morning. We have Democrat Don Bosch, who is an attorney, and Eddie Smith from the GOP side, who has done a little of everything. He is a former lawmaker, and he is also on the Planning Commission. Welcome to all of you.
Good morning.
All right, Hanson, so let's shift and talk to you right quick. We've watched this kind of drama, if you will, the significant market shift unfold in 2020 and in 2021. So from your perspective, which is kind of the broader 30,000 foot, what can you tell us about what's been happening in East Tennessee? Because the ground has been moving.
Yeah, the ground has been moving considerably. So, what we've seen in the past year and a half, really since the pandemic, is some really a huge surge in demand and influx of new residents to Knoxville. The pandemic really sort of exacerbated some pre-existing trends that we were seeing. And then, the supply crisis dates back to 2008 and the drop in home building. So what we've seen is this collision of a huge gap in supply and demand. And it's been just as crazy for realtors as it has been for home buyers. And there's no end in sight currently.
It's a topic that affects all of us, whether we rent or buy. I'm a renter. I've seen my rent jump up. If you're a buyer or a seller, you also know. So let's hear from our panelists. Don, you want to start us off? Looks like he is deep in thought. Eddie?
Yeah, so we'll just go ahead. So Hanson, looking at some of the trends, rewinding a couple of years ago, one of the things that I knew that was coming based on what ECD was telling us is just the fact that how our area is going to continue to grow. Forecasting out, what are you seeing trends of how our general area, not just Knoxville, but the entire area around Knoxville, what are you seeing in trend lines for growth in the community?
Well, and that's a great question, and we're uniquely positioned as the Realtor Association to answer it because our data covers 12 counties, so the broader East Tennessee region. And what we've seen is that counties are growing, not just Knoxville. Knoxville's sort of the epicenter of growth here, but we're seeing strong growth in rural areas in particular. Also, suburban areas have grown rapidly, and that poses some pretty big policy challenges just as it relates to sustainability and being able to afford the infrastructure that demand is creating infrastructure demand for. So there's a lot of challenges related to that, and the upcoming the Knox County comprehensive planning process is underway and will play a significant role in thinking how do we manage this growth in a way that's sustainable fiscally and also from a quality of life perspective, and preserve some of those features of the East Tennessee landscape that make us such an attractive place to live.
Hanson, let me touch on or dig a little further on something that you mentioned, and that is sort of the more outlying counties. And I think you reminded me of one county in particular that's seeing a lot of growth, and that's Loudoun County.
Yeah, and Loudoun County has responded to that with voting to impose a moratorium on planned unit development, essentially stopping large-scale housing development. So we're seeing some counties respond in a way that's not very helpful for the situation, and in a way that will actually come back to hurt them. I'm firmly of the belief that you can't really stop something, particularly growth in this sense. People are going to keep coming here. The question is, do you want to remain affordable and stay. That we use that moniker all the time, that East Tennessee is an affordable place to live, but that's not just inherently true. It's a result of a long process and long-term planning process. And if we respond by saying we don't want any more of this, really what's going to happen is affordability will become an increasing issue, and the growth won't stop. So, responding in that way is really not helpful. And combating that and educating people on how we can do this sustainably is one of the most important parts of this conversation.
That is very tricky.
Well,
Eddie, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, and I was actually going to ask Hanson just to kind of give some thoughts. So when we think about, I kind of bullet down to three things that everybody is really concerned about. One is, as we look at growth, how that affects our schools and school capacity, what it does to traffic congestion. And the third one is really just with the fact that Amazon is building, a million square foot facility out in Alcoa, Smith & Wesson moving here, Amazon building a facility over in East Knoxville. Affordability becomes a big concern for a lot of people as they look for houses. So, what do you see on the trend lines of in that market of, $180,000 to $300,000 range, which inventory has been so low in? What are you seeing for people who might be looking in the future of what might be out there?
Well, in the long term and also in the short term, we have the largest gap in supply is at the level that you mentioned and what is traditionally considered affordable. And what we've seen across in the Knoxville metro area, so the broader region, we've seen a pretty sustained decline in the number of new homes that are falling into that affordable range. So, they're a hot commodity and we're also not building them. And that's a result of a lot of different things. I mean, we're going to have to take a look, particularly through the planning and zoning process. And that's fragmented and it's different in different counties, which makes it a bigger challenge. But, the traditional large lot zoning really is not conducive to building an affordable housing stock. We need a diverse housing stock. We need more, upscale duplexes and triplexes and townhomes. Really, the big key for diversity in the housing stock, that's central to me with regard to affordability. And it's also a benefit of, when you have denser development and more compact housing types, it's actually lessens the infrastructure costs that are associated with it. So it's thinking about how do we control this and preserve affordability. I don't think we can continue in the way that we are going right now. And, if we do, I think it will be reflected at some point in property taxes and things of that nature that I think we all can agree are not optimal solutions.
We're talking real estate on Inside Tennessee. May sound like an unusual topic, but it's actually something that affects everybody. We got to take a break, but we're coming back. We hope you'll join us.